Hello, everybody. This is Francis, your favorite life coach, the speaker of life coach. Y'all, story time. So, of course, for those of you who don't know, I just came back from vacationing, and I just had to share something with y'all because I know, for me, when I get these little revelations and these downloads from God, I just be like, "Wow, geez, you know how to turn it on." And so, anyway, y'all, let me tell y'all. So we're getting ready to come back to the States, and we were in line at the airport. Now, we had gone through there, checked our stuff in. It's in the kiosk, and was already got our tags, already got our boarding passes. So we were getting ready to go into the line to get our bags checked. So we get there. It's kind of hot in the airport. The line is long. Like, we were just standing there. We're just waiting, right? And so we saw other people that were coming in. I guess maybe they arrived a little bit later, but their flight was getting ready to leave. And so they were calling them, and it was like, exit, like, hey, if you're going to so and so, let us know, and we'll go ahead and put you to the other side. So, those that were running late and their plane was getting ready to take off, of course, they were, advanced to the line. So it was almost like they didn't have a wait. So it was kind of like this whole kind of access granted thing, right? So then we're still standing in line, and there are a whole bunch of people back there behind the people that are actually working on the computers. And it seemed like they were just moving really slow. And so as I'm standing there, I'm watching these other individuals standing behind the other people that are working. So I start to see the people that were initially there when we arrived. I started to see them, close down their computers for the next people to start coming on. And then it seemed as though I was standing there, and I said to my best friend, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're getting ready to do a shift change. Now, typically, if you think about shift change, you think about like how, if you're in a hospital and let's just say your nurse is getting ready to do a shift change, you're probably going to be stuck there even longer because you're waiting for them to come through the shift change or whatever. So anyway, y'all, long story short, everybody that was, their shift was ending, right? The new people came on, and then the line just started moving. And so I was thinking to myself this revelation that when it was like, shift change is good. And it made me think about the ways and the areas and life where, where do I need to make a shift change at? Where has my shift changed and I'm still on the clock, but I should have changed my shift? It made me think about people. It made me think about places. It made me think about spaces. It even made me think about mindsets where I needed to change shifts. So that was the first part of my revelation. So then I get to the next part of it. So we get there, and again, we're back on this access granted portion of it. So we get there, and if you've ever gone through customs, that could be a very lengthy process just trying to get back. So we had paid for a particular service that allows them to fast track you like a VIP to get you through the customs portion of it faster, and you get an opportunity to wait in a nice lounge, and you get a chance to eat and different things like that while you wait on your flight. So it's kind of waiting on your flight in comfort. But when it came time for us, after we checked our bag in, when it came time for us to go into the place to check in, we noticed that it was saying that, if you have this particular thing, like a priority pass, then, your access is already granted. So we get up there, we find out that we paid for an extra service that we already had access to. But it made me think about in terms, or made us actually think about in terms like, how many things has God already granted us access to, that he has given us access to, as long as we are obedient, as long as we're moving forward in his plan, as long as we're in alignment, there are so many things that he has already given us access to. And guess what? Because he's given us access to that in his time, we won't have to wait when it comes. That access is already granted. So I'm going to get to my last point, y'all. Sorry, this video is kind of long, but I got to get this out. So then I get on the plane, I'm sitting down, and there's this really nice gentleman sitting next to me, across from me. I had an aisle seat. And he asked me, really nice, he said, my wife and I, she booked the flight kind of late and we weren't able to get seats together. But she also has an aisle seat. So do you mind switching seats with her when she comes so we can sit across from each other? Um, and so I was like, oh, that's no problem, no big deal. And I asked him, did he know what seat number she was in? And he said, no, but when she gets here, I'll ask her. And then if you want to, if it's okay, you can switch. He's like, we've been married for 30 years. And you would think that her sitting back a little bit further on the plane wouldn't bother me. But, I can't be without it. It's been 30 years. And I thought it was just the sweetest little thing. So anyway, I ended up switching my seat with her when she came, and I was sitting next to another couple, and they were really nice, and I was just having candid conversation with them. But then I guess other people decided to not take their flight, so it allowed my best friend to be able to reroute her seat as well. But it made me think about how God reroutes us in times to realign us or to align us with his will or his purpose. So sometimes when we get rerouted from things and we think about them as things that are like bad or could be setbacks, or, oh my gosh, I think you think you're on the right track when you're not. And so sometimes during our walk, as we're elevating, as we're shifting, God reroutes us and puts us on a different path. And anytime there's something that we may need to be in alignment with his will, or we're in a place or a space where we're not supposed to be, he will reroute us. But we can't process it from this negative standpoint. So we have to know and understand that in this season, changing shifts is important. We have to know that in this season, rerouting is essential. And we have to know in this season that access will be granted for you as long as you're doing what is required of you. There's no way around getting the things that you desire without doing what is required of you first. So, again, y'all, the words for the day is change shifts. Where do you need to make those changes at in your shift? Shift in mindset, position, places, people, spaces, whatever. What is it? Rerouting. Where's God trying to reroute you to, and you're giving him a hard time with doing it? You're reluctant with doing it. You're processing it negatively. Like, how are you able to do those things? You need to think about those areas in which you need to be rerouted. And then you got to think about the access that you desire for God to grant you. Are you doing everything that you need to do in order for that access to be granted for you? So this is Francis, your favorite life coach, the speaker of life coach, your first responder in the kingdom of God. Signing off. Until next time, y'all. With some more story time tea.